Hi, dear friend. You've found a quiet place to rest and dream. Tonight, we'll journey to the edge of what can be seen, where light itself bends and whispers its final secrets. I want you to know that you don't need to do anything right now. You don't need to solve anything, finish anything, or understand everything. All you need to do is breathe, settle into this moment, and let the universe hold you gently as we drift together through the darkness. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let the day fall quietly behind you. I'm floating here, suspended in the deepest silence you could ever imagine. My vessel hums softly around me, a gentle rhythm like a heartbeat, steady and sure. Outside my window, there is something extraordinary, something that defies every instinct we have about light, about time, about existence itself. I'm observing a black hole, not from some safe distance measured in light years, but close enough that I can see the way space bends around it. Close enough to witness the last photons of light as they spiral inward, stretched and pulled by gravity so immense that even time itself begins to slow down. And yet, I feel calm, profoundly calm, because even here, at the edge of an abyss that swallows everything, there is beauty, there is order. There is a kind of music in the mathematics, a poetry in the physics. The universe, even in its most extreme moments, still makes sense, still whispers to those willing to listen. You can let your eyes close now if they want to. You can picture yourself here with me, floating weightless, safe within this small vessel of metal and light, watching one of the most powerful phenomena in all of creation. The black hole before me was once a star, a massive star, perhaps 50 or 60 times the mass of our sun. For millions of years it burned brilliantly, fusing hydrogen into helium, helium into carbon, carbon into heavier elements. It lived fast and fierce, pouring light and heat into the cosmic ocean around it. But all stars, no matter how bright, must eventually run out of fuel. When this star exhausted its nuclear reserves, there was nothing left to hold it up against its own gravity. In a fraction of a second, the core collapsed. The outer layers rebounded in a supernova explosion so bright it would have outshone an entire galaxy for weeks. And what remained at the center, crushed beyond all recognition, became this: a singularity, a point of infinite density wrapped in an event horizon, a boundary beyond which nothing, not even light, can return. Let that settle in your mind like a stone dropping into still water. Even light cannot escape. I'm recording everything, every measurement, every observation, every flicker of radiation. But more than that, I'm recording my thoughts, my feelings, the strange peace that washes over me as I witness this. Because I've realized something out here, something I want to share with you as you rest. Even in total darkness, the universe still speaks. The event horizon stretches before me like a perfect sphere of absolute black. It doesn't glow. It doesn't shimmer. It simply is. A hole in the fabric of space, an absence so profound that it defines everything around it. But surrounding it, there's something magnificent, the accretion disk. Imagine a vast spiral of gas glowing white-hot as it orbits the black hole. At a significant fraction, the material comes from a nearby companion star, pulled away by the black hole's gravity, stretched into streams of spiral inward like water circling a drain. But this drain is different. This drain heats the material to millions of degrees. The friction, the compression, the sheer violence of matter being accelerated is brilliant, fierce, beautiful light. X-rays pour outward. Gamma rays flash in sudden bursts. The accretion disk glows with colors no human eye could see unaided, frequencies of light that paint the darkness in shades of physics rather than art. And I watch it all, slowly turning, slowly falling, slowly feeding the void. You don't need to visualize every detail. Just let the image rest gently in your mind, a ring of light around perfect darkness, a boundary between what can be known and what cannot. Time moves differently here. Einstein taught us that gravity warps space-time. The stronger the gravity, the slower time flows. Here, so close to the event horizon, time is stretching like warm honey. If you could watch me from far away, I would appear to be moving in slow motion. My gestures would take minutes. My words would deepen and slow until they became a low hum. But from my perspective, everything feels normal. My clock ticks at its usual pace. My heart beats steadily. It's the rest of the universe that seems to be speeding up, racing ahead into a future I can barely imagine. This is what it means to live near a black hole. You become unstuck from the timeline everyone else shares. You drift in your own pocket of stretched seconds and elongated minutes. I wonder sometimes what it would be like to cross the event horizon. Not that I will. I'm safely beyond it, held in a careful orbit by my ship's engines. But I wonder, if I were to fall in, what would I see? The mathematics tells us that I would notice nothing special at the moment I crossed. The event horizon isn't a physical surface, not a wall or a membrane. It's just a point of no return, a mathematical boundary. I would pass through it as easily as passing through empty space, but I would never be able to tell anyone. Because from that moment forward, every path I could take, every possible trajectory, would lead deeper inward, not because I'm moving inward, but because space-time itself is so warped that outward simply ceases to exist as a direction. All roads lead to the singularity, and as I fell, tidal forces would begin to stretch me. Feet slightly closer to the black hole than my head would experience slightly stronger gravity. The difference would grow, slowly at first, then fast. I would be pulled like taffy, elongated, spaghettified, that's the actual scientific term, until every atom of my body was torn apart and added to the black hole's mass. But here's the strange comfort. I wouldn't experience it as violence. Time dilation would slow my perception. The tidal forces would feel gradual, almost gentle, until the very end. Even in destruction, the universe is not cruel. It simply is. Let your breathing slow now, matching the rhythm of my word, in and out. Soft and steady, you are safe, you are held. The light from the accretion disk doesn't reach me directly. Instead, it curves around the black hole, bent by gravity, creating strange optical effects. I can see light from behind the black hole appearing in front of it, wrapped around the event horizon like a halo. This is gravitational lens. The black hole acts like a lens, warping the path of every photon that passes near it. If I positioned myself just right, I could see multiple images of the same distant star, light that took different paths around the black hole, arriving at my eyes from different directions at different times. I could watch the universe duplicated, triplicated, reflected in the curved mirror of space-time. It's disorienting. It's beautiful. It's a reminder that nothing in the universe travels in straight lines. Everything curves, everything bends, everything follows the shape of space itself. Even you, right now, wherever you are following the curvature of space-time. Earth's mass dimples the fabric of the universe, and you sit comfortably in that dimple, held by gravity, following the natural path through curved space. You've never felt it. You've been falling your entire falling around the sun, falling through the galaxy, falling through the universe at hundreds of kilometers, and yet you feel perfectly still. That's the secret. Motion and stillness are the same thing, depending on your frame of reference. Rest is just another kind of journey. I've been out here for weeks now, making careful observations, recording data that will take years to analyze. But the science, as important as it is, isn't what keeps me awake during my shifts. It's the wonder. Every time I look at the black hole, I'm reminded of how much we don't know, how much remains mysterious and strange and utterly beyond our current understanding. We know that inside the event horizon, the laws of physics as we understand them begin to break down. Quantum mechanics and general relativity, the two great pillars of modern physics, give contradictory answers about what happens at the singularity. One says that information cannot be destroyed. The other says that everything falling into a black hole is crushed into a point of zero volume and infinite density, where information loses all meaning. These two truths cannot both be correct. And yet both theories have been tested and confirmed in countless other contexts. This is the black hole information paradox, and we still don't have a complete answer. Stephen Hawking showed that black holes aren't entirely black. Quantum effects near the event horizon cause them to emit radiation, slowly evaporating over unimaginable span. A black hole the mass of our sun would take 10 to the 67 years to evaporate, a 1 followed by 67 zeros. That's longer than the current age of the universe raised to the 5th power. But they do evaporate. Eventually, in a future so distant that all stars will have burned out and all galaxies will have drifted apart, even black holes will fade away, returning their mass to the universe as a whisper of thermal radiation. And the question remains, what happens to the information that fell in? Does it escape somehow, encoded in the Hawking radiation? Or is it truly lost, violating the fundamental laws of quantum mechanics? We don't know, and there's something peaceful about it, something humbling. Not everything has an answer. Not everything needs to be solved tonight. Some mysteries are meant to sit with us, to inspire us, to remind us that the universe is larger and stranger than we can fully comprehend. You can let your thoughts drift now. You don't need to hold on to every word. Just let them flow through you like starlight, gentle and soft. The black hole rotates. Most black holes do, inheriting the angular momentum of the star that collapsed to form them. This one spins fast, perhaps close to the theoretical maximum, dragging space-time around it like a whirlpool dragging water. This is frame dragging. The rotation is so powerful that it twists space-time itself into a spiral. Near the event horizon, it becomes impossible to remain stationary. Space itself is moving, flowing around the black hole, and anything in that region is swept along whether it wants to be or not. There's a boundary called the ergosphere, just outside the event horizon, where this effect becomes extreme. In the ergosphere, you could still escape, unlike past the event horizon, but you could not stand still. You would be forced to orbit, carried along by the current of rotating space. It's like being caught in a river with no banks, no shore, only the flow, and yet paradoxically, energy can be extracted from a rotating black hole. Through a process called the Penrose mechanism, particles can enter the ergosphere and leave with more energy than they entered with, stealing rotational energy from the black hole itself. Imagine that. A black hole, the ultimate symbol of consumption and destruction, can be used as an energy source. A sufficiently advanced civilization could orbit a spinning black hole, dropping matter into the ergosphere and harvesting the energy released, powering themselves for billions of years on the rotational momentum of collapsed space-time. The universe is always more clever than we expect, always more generous. Even its most extreme objects offer gifts to those who understand. I think about that sometimes as I float here, how nothing is ever purely one thing, how destruction and creation are always intertwined, how even at the edge of oblivion there is possibility. Your breathing has slowed now. You're sinking deeper into rest, letting go of the day, letting go of worry. That's good. That's exactly right. The jets are magnificent. From the poles of the black hole, perpendicular to the accretion disk, there are twin beams of matter and energy shooting outward at nearly the speed of light. These are relativistic jets, powered by magnetic fields tangled in the infalling plasma. The material spirals down toward the event horizon, and somehow, through processes we still don't fully understand, a fraction of it is redirected, accelerated, and blasted outward along the black hole's spin axis. These jets can extend for thousands of light years, visible across the entire galaxy, pumping energy and particles into the intergalactic medium. They're beautiful beyond words. Narrow beams of light and matter glowing with synchrotron radiation, twisting slightly as they travel due to instabilities in the magnetic fields. If Earth were in the path of one of these jets, we would have never survived long enough to evolve. The radiation would sterilize the planet's surface instantly, but from here, from this safe angle, they're just beautiful, just awesome in the original sense of the word, inspiring awe. The jets create bubbles in space, cavities carved out of the surrounding gas by the sheer power of the outflow. These bubbles can be larger than galaxies, monuments to the black hole's energy output, visible for billions of years after the jets themselves have shut off. Even silence leaves echoes. Even darkness leaves traces of light. I've photographed the jets in multiple wavelengths. Radio waves show their magnetic structure. X-rays reveal the shocked plasma. Visible light captures their delicate glow. But no photograph can capture what it feels like to see them in person, to know that you're witnessing something so powerful, so ancient, so impossibly energetic. Words fail. Cameras fail. Only presence, only witnessing does it justice. Let that be enough. Let presence be enough. You don't need to capture this moment or hold on. Just be here now, breathing, resting, letting the universe unfold around you. Time is strange in other ways too. If I dropped a probe into the black hole and watched it fall, I would see something peculiar. As it approached the event horizon, it would appear to slow down, redder and redder, as its light was stretched by gravity, dimmer and dimmer as photons struggled to escape. And then, just before it crossed the horizon, it would seem to freeze. The last image of the probe, permanently painted on the event horizon, growing dimmer and redder forever, asymptotically approaching but never quite reaching the point of no return. From my perspective, the probe would never cross the horizon. I would watch it fade over hours, days, years, eternally frozen at the edge. But from the probe's perspective, it would cross quickly and smoothly, experiencing nothing special at the boundary. Both perspectives are true. Both are valid. There is no contradiction, only the relativity of experience. This is what Einstein gave us, the understanding that there is no universal now, no absolute moment shared across all of space. Instead, there are countless individual nows, each valid in its own reference frame, each describing the same universe from a different angle. You have your now, I have mine, and they don't need to align perfectly to both be real. Rest in your now. Let it be soft and warm and safe. Let time move at whatever pace it needs to. The black hole is patient. It has consumed stars and gas clouds over billions of years, and it will continue to do so for billions more. It doesn't rush. It doesn't hurry. Gravity is patient. It pulls gently but inexorably, never forcing, never demanding, simply offering an invitation that matter cannot refuse. You could resist for a while using energy, firing rockets, pushing away, but eventually you would run out of fuel. Eventually you would have to accept the invitation, and maybe that's okay. Maybe there's wisdom in knowing when to stop resisting, when to let go, when to trust the natural flow of things. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every force needs to be. Sometimes the bravest thing is to relax, to release, to trust. Your body knows this already. It's been trying to tell you all day. Release the tension in your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Let your weight sink into whatever supports you. The universe will hold you. It always has. The radiation I'm detecting tells stories. Every X-ray, every gamma ray, every radio wave carries information about the material that emitted it. The temperature, the velocity, the magnetic field strength, the composition. I can tell that the gas in the accretion disk contains iron, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Elements forged in the heart of earlier stars, scattered by earlier supernovae, now spiraling into a black hole that will hold them until the end of time, or until the black hole evaporates, quadrillions of years from now. Even then, the information might not be lost. Some theories suggest that Hawking radiation is not truly random, that it carries subtle correlations encoding everything that ever fell in. The information would be scrambled, encrypted in the quantum structure of the outgoing photons, but not destroyed. Other theories propose that information is preserved in subtle patterns on the event horizon itself, holographically encoded in a two-dimensional surface that describes the three-dimensional interior. These are the cutting edges of theoretical physics, questions so deep, so fundamental, that answering them might require a complete revolution in how we understand reality. And I'm sitting here at the edge of the mystery itself, watching it unfold. But I don't need to solve it. I don't need to understand everything. I can simply witness, simply observe, simply allow the universe to be as strange and wonderful as it is. You can do the same. You don't need to solve anything tonight. You don't need to understand everything about your life, your choices, your future. You can simply be. Simply rest. Simply allow. There's a strange phenomenon called spaghettification that I mentioned earlier, but it's worth sitting with for a moment. The tidal forces near a black hole don't affect your entire body uniformly. They pull harder on whatever part of you is closest to the singularity. If you fell in feet first, your feet would be pulled more strongly than your head. The difference in gravitational strength across your body would stretch you vertically and compress you horizontally, pulling you into a long, thin strand. For a supermassive black hole like the one at the center of our galaxy, the event horizon is so large that tidal forces at the horizon are actually quite gentle. You could cross it and survive for some time before the tides became lethal deeper. But for a small black hole like this one, only a few kilometers across, the tidal forces at the horizon are already intense. You wouldn't survive the crossing. Nature is unkind in some scales and generous in others. The size of a black hole determines so much about its character. Small black holes are fierce and hot. Their event horizons crackled with intense tidal forces and rapid Hawking radiation. Large black holes are calm and cold. their horizon smooth and gentle, their evaporation time scale longer than ages. Everything in physics is about scale. What's true at one size is not true at another. Quantum mechanics governs the small. Relativity governs the large. And somewhere in between, there's a crossover we don't fully understand yet. Quantum gravity, the theory of everything. The unified description of nature that combines quantum mechanics and general relativity into a single coherent framework. We don't have it yet, but we're searching. And black holes, these extreme laboratories where both quantum effects and gravitational effects are strong, are one of the best places to look for clues. Let your mind drift through these ideas like a leaf floating on a stream. You don't need to catch them or hold them. Just let them pass by, gently, softly. I've been recording my thoughts, speaking them aloud into the ship's log. It helps somehow to put words to the experience, to translate the visual and emotional into language, even though language feels inadequate. How do you describe the color of an X-ray, the shape of curved space-time? The feeling of watching time itself bend. You use metaphors, you use poetry. You reach for comparisons that don't quite fit, but gesture toward the truth. The black hole is like a whirlpool, except it's space-time itself that's swirling. The event horizon is like a one-way mirror, except it's not a surface but a boundary in geometry. The singularity is like a point, except it's not in space but rather where space ceases to be. None of these are exactly right, but they're the best we can do. Language evolved to describe trees and rivers, predators and prey, friends and enemies. It wasn't designed to describe quantum foam or curved space-time or event horizons, and yet we try. We stretch language as far as it can go, and then we invent mathematics to go further. Mathematics is the true language of the universe. Equations describe what words cannot. The Einstein field equations tell us exactly how mass and energy curve space-time. The Schrödinger equation tells us exactly how quantum states evolve. Maxwell's equations describe electromagnetic fields with perfect precision. But mathematics, for all its power, doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't capture the awe, the wonder, the emotional truth of being here. For that, we need stories, we need poetry, we need human connection. So I speak into the log, recording not just data, but experience, knowing that someday someone will listen and feel a fraction of what I feel now. And you're listening now, across space and time, across the boundary between fiction and reality. You're here with me, sharing this moment. Thank you for that. Thank you for being present. The magnetic fields around the black hole are impossibly complex. Charged particles spiraling in the accretion disk generate electric currents, and those currents generate magnetic fields, and those fields influence the particles, creating a feedback loop of staggering intricacy. Magnetohydrodynamics, the study of electrically conducting fluids in magnetic fields. It's a field of physics that combines electromagnetism and fluid dynamics, and it's notoriously difficult. The equations are nonlinear, meaning small changes can have disproportionately large effects. Turbulence develops, instabilities grow, the magnetic field lines twist and reconnect, releasing energy in sudden bursts. These magnetic reconnection events can accelerate particles to nearly the speed of light in a fraction of a second. They create flares, bright flashes of radiation, sudden spikes in the X-ray flux I'm measuring. The accretion disk is not smooth or steady. It's chaotic, violent, constantly shifting. And yet, on average, over time, it settles into patterns. statistical patterns, emergent behaviors that arise from the chaos. This is true everywhere in nature. Order emerges from disorder. Patterns form from randomness. Complexity arises from simplicity. Your body is the same, trillions of cells, each following simple chemical rules, somehow organizing themselves into tissues, organs, systems, consciousness. You are an emergent phenomenon, a pattern that has learned to recognize itself, a local decrease in entropy made possible by the sun pouring energy into Earth's biosphere. And that's miraculous. That's beautiful. That's as strange and wonderful as anything I'm observing here. The black hole will outlast everything. Long after this accretion disk has been consumed, long after the companion star has burned out, long after galaxies have collided and stars have scattered, black holes will remain. In the far future, in the deep time beyond comprehension, the universe will be dark and cold. All stars will have died. All matter will have decayed or been pulled into black holes. The only light will be the faint Hawking radiation of evaporating black holes, glowing dimly in the infinite night. And eventually even that will fade. The universe will reach maximum entropy, a state of perfect uniformity. No energy gradients, no temperature differences, no structure of any kind. The heat death of the universe. But even then, even in that final state, quantum fluctuations will continue. Tiny, random variations in the fabric of space-time, creating virtual particles that pop in and out of existence. And given infinite time, even the most improbable things become inevitable. Another universe might nucleate, a quantum fluctuation large enough to trigger a new Big Bang, a new cycle of expansion and structure forming. Or maybe not. Maybe the end is truly the end. We can't know. The future is too distant, the uncertainties too large. But there's comfort in impermanence. If nothing lasts forever, then pain doesn't last forever either. Difficulty doesn't last forever. This moment, whatever it contains, will pass. And so will the next moment, and the next. Until someday you'll look back and realize you've traveled farther than you ever thought possible. The black hole teaches patience. It teaches acceptance. It teaches that some things cannot be rushed, cannot be forced, can only be witnessed with quiet attention. Your eyelids are heavy now. Your breathing is deep and slow. You're drifting at the edge of sleep, that soft boundary between waking and dreaming. And that's good. That's perfect. You don't need to stay awake. You don't need to hear every word. The story will continue whether you're listening or not. The universe will keep unfolding. The black hole will keep spinning, and you will keep being held, safely, gently, in the arms of existence. I've noticed something else about the radiation patterns. There are oscillations, periodic variations in the X-ray brightness. These are called quasi-periodic oscillations, QPOs, and they're thought to be related to the dynamics of the inner accretion disk. Perhaps the disk has a resonance, a natural frequency at which it vibrates. Perhaps there are hot spots orbiting near the event horizon, flashing into view with each revolution. Perhaps the jets are precessing, wobbling like a spinning top, relating the emission. We see these QPOs in many black hole systems, and they give us clues about the black hole spin, its mass, the structure of space-time near the horizon. But they're also just beautiful as rhythmic pulses in the data, peaks and valleys repeating at intervals of milliseconds or seconds. Everything vibrates. Everything has a frequency, a natural rhythm. Your breath has a rhythm. Even your brain waves have rhythms, different frequencies corresponding to different states of consciousness. Right now, as you relax, your brain is shifting from beta waves, fast, alert, active, to alpha waves, calm, relaxed, meditative, and maybe even toward theta waves, drowsy, drifting, the edge of sleep. These are natural oscillations, the brain's way of cycling through states, each with its own function, its own purpose. You don't need to control them. They happen automatically, guided by your body's ancient wisdom, just like the QPOs from the black hole, guided by the physics of curved spacetime and orbiting plasma. Everything in the universe is connected by rhythm, by vibration, by the fundamental pulse of energy and matter. I'm thinking about the photons that are escaping from the accretion disk right now. They were emitted from plasma so hot that atoms are stripped down to bare nuclei and free electrons. They traveled outward, climbing out of the black hole's gravity well, losing energy in the process, red shifting from gamma rays down to X-rays or even visible light by the time they reach my detectors. Each photon is a messenger. Each carries information about where it came from, what emitted it, what it traveled through. And some of those photons will continue past me, out into space, traveling across the galaxy, across the universe, for billions of years, until maybe, just maybe, they encounter another observer. Someone else, somewhere, somewhen, will see the light from this black hole and wonder, and in that moment we'll be connected. Across the vastness of space and time, we'll share an experience, a moment of contact mediated by particles of light that have traveled unimaginable distances to bring news of this place. You are connected to everyone who has ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, connected to every astronomer, every physicist, every poet who has tried to understand the cosmos, connected to me here, now, through these words. We are all made of stardust, the remnants of ancient supernovae, but we're also connected by light, by gravity, by the information that flows through the universe, binding everything together. Nothing is truly isolated. Nothing is truly alone. The event horizon is absolutely smooth. That's one of the predictions of general relativity, the no-hair theorem. A black hole is completely described by just three numbers: its mass, its spin, and its electric charge. Everything else, the details of what fell in, the shape of the original star, the composition of the material, is erased. The black hole has no hair, no additional features or characteristics. It's the ultimate in simplicity, pure geometry, pure space-time curvature. And yet, quantum mechanics suggests otherwise. Hawking radiation should be affected by what fell in. Information should be preserved somehow. So there must be hair after all, some subtle quantum structure we can't yet detect. This tension between the smooth, simple black hole of general relativity and the complex, information-preserving black hole of quantum mechanics is one of the deepest problems in physics. It's a reminder that our current theories are incomplete. Not wrong, they work brilliantly within their domains, but limited. There's more to discover, more to understand. The universe still has secrets, still has layers we haven't uncovered, and that's exciting. That means there's always something new to learn, always another question to... Your mind might be wandering now, drifting away from my words into dreams or quiet thought. Let it wander, let it drift like in a sunbeam, aimless. I'm still here, watching the bowl, recording data, thinking about the nature of the ship's instruments. Air whispers. Outside, the accretion disk glows with patient ferocity. There's nowhere I need to be, nothing I need to do except be present, be attentive, be open to what the universe wants to show me. The same is true for you. There's nowhere you need to be right now, nothing you need to accomplish. The day is over, the night has come, and all you need to do is rest. One of the strangest predictions of black hole physics is the possibility of wormholes. If a black hole singularity connects to another region of space-time, you could theoretically travel through it and emerge somewhere or somewhen else. Of course, the tidal forces would destroy you long before you reached the other side, and the wormhole would be unstable, collapsing faster than light could cross it, unless you somehow threaded it with exotic matter that has negative energy. We've never seen exotic matter. We don't know if it exists. It might be forbidden by quantum field theory, or it might exist only in quantities too small to be used. But mathematically, wormholes are allowed. They're solutions to Einstein's equations. They're possible in the structure of the theory, even if nature doesn't actually make them. That's the beauty of mathematics. It shows us all the possibilities, even the ones that aren't realized. And sometimes the possibilities are so strange, so unexpected, that they inspire us to look harder, to search for things we never imagined. Black holes themselves were once considered purely mathematical curiosities, solutions to Einstein's equations that surely couldn't exist in reality. And yet, here I am, observing one, collecting data from one, marveling at one. The universe is richer than we assume, stranger than we expect, more generous with wonders than we dare to hope. Keep that in mind as you drift. The universe is full of surprises, full of beauty, full of mystery, and you are part of it. You belong here. You are woven into the same fabric of space-time as this black hole, this accretion disk, these jets of plasma. You are cosmos experiencing itself, stardust contemplating stars. The temperature of the accretion disk varies depending on distance from the black hole. Close to the event horizon, where the material is orbiting at nearly the speed of light, friction and compression heat the plasma to millions of degrees. Farther out, the disk is cooler, thousands of degrees, glowing in visible and infrared light. If I could map the disk's temperature profile, I could learn about the density of the plasma, the strength of the magnetic fields, the rate at which energy is being radiated away. Every detail reveals something. Every measurement constrains the models. This is how science, not by sudden revelation, dramatic breakthroughs, but by patient accumulation of data, careful comparison of theory and observation, slow refinement of our understanding. It's humbling work. It requires admitting what you don't know, accepting that your ideas might be wrong, being willing to change your mind when the evidence demands it. But it's also joyful work. Every new piece of data is a gift. Every successful prediction is a confirmation that we're on the right track. Every puzzle solved reveals two more puzzles waiting beneath. It's a never-ending journey, a conversation with nature that will continue as long as there are curious minds to ask questions. And right now, here, at the edge of this black hole, I'm adding one small note to that long conversation, one set of observations, one perspective, one human voice saying, I was here. I saw this. This is what I learned. Someday, someone will read my logs and build on my work. They'll ask questions I haven't thought of, use technologies I can't imagine, understand things that remain mysterious to me. And that's perfect. That's how it should be. Progress is not about individuals, but about the collective effort, the long chain of discovery stretching back to ancient astronomers and forward to futures we can barely conceive. You are part of that chain too. Every question you've ever asked, every moment of wonder you've experienced, contributes to the human story of understanding the universe. You matter. Your curiosity matters. Your existence matters. The black hole doesn't care, of course. It has no awareness, no consciousness, no opinion about my observations or your existence. It simply is. It follows the laws of physics with perfect fidelity. neither more nor less. And there's something freeing about that. The universe is not judging you. It's not disappointed in your choices. It's not keeping score. It simply allows you to exist, to participate, to experience. You can let go of any burden you've been carrying. The universe doesn't require perfection. It doesn't demand achievement. It only asks that you be. And you're already doing that beautifully. The silence here is profound. Not the absence of sound. My ship has its mechanical heartbeat, the hum of life support, the occasional beep of instruments, but the silence of space itself. No air to carry vibrations, no atmosphere to scatter light into blue skies and red sunsets. Just the pristine vacuum, the purest emptiness that exists in nature. And in that emptiness, I feel a strange kind of fullness, a completeness. As if silence isn't the lack of something, but rather a presence of its own, a canvas on which everything else appears. Your mind knows this kind of silence too. In the moments between thoughts, in the pauses between breaths, there's a quietness that isn't empty but rich, deep, nourishing. You can rest in that silence now. Let the space between my words grow wider, softer, more welcoming. Let yourself sink into the quiet places inside you. I've been thinking about what it means to witness something, to truly see it, not just with eyes or instruments, but with full presence and attention. The black hole doesn't need a witness. It would exist exactly the same whether I was here or not. It's been here for millions of years, and it will be here for billions of years after I leave. And yet, my witnessing changes something. It creates meaning. It creates connection. It transforms raw physics into human understanding, cold mathematics into warm wonder. Consciousness is the universe's way of knowing itself. Through us, through our observations and thoughts and feelings, the cosmos becomes aware of its own existence. You are the universe looking at itself. Every time you gaze at stars, every time you wonder about the nature of reality, you're participating in this ancient act of cosmic self-reflection, and that makes your presence valuable beyond measure. You're not just a passive observer, you're an active participant in the universe's story of coming to know itself. The gravitational waves from this black hole are too weak for me to detect directly. My ship doesn't carry instruments sensitive enough, but I know they're there, rippling outward through space-time at the speed of light. Every orbit of material in the accretion disk, every asymmetry in the infalling matter, every wobble in the black hole's spin creates gravitational waves, distortions in space-time itself that propagate outward like ripples on a pond. On Earth, we have detectors like LIGO that can measure these waves when they come from massive events like colliding black holes. But the waves from the single, relatively quiet black hole are too subtle, too gentle. Still, they're there. The fabric of space-time around me is constantly vibrating, constantly shifting, singing a song too quiet for my instruments to hear. Everything that moves creates gravitational waves. You, shifting your position right now, created an infinitesimally small ripple in space-time. Your heart, beating in your chest, sends tiny waves of gravity outward. These effects are impossibly small, far below any measurement we can make. They're real. They're part of the fundamental nature of reality. You are not separate from space-time. You are embedded in it, part of it, continuous with it. When you move space-time itself. When you exist, you curve the universe around you, creating a tiny dimple in the cosmic fabric. You have weight not because gravity pulls you down, but because you're following the natural curvature of space-time created by Earth's mass. And in your own small way, you create curvature too. You shape reality just by being. Let that thought settle gently in your mind. Reality, you matter. Literally, physically, undeniably. The mathematics of black holes is beautiful in a way that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't studied it. The equations have an elegance, a symmetry, a kind of inevitability that feels almost musical. The Schwarzschild solution describing a non-rotating black hole emerges from Einstein's equations with perfect clarity. The Kerr solution describing a rotating black hole is more complex but equally beautiful, revealing how rotation adds structure and possibility to space-time. These aren't arbitrary formulas. They're expressions of deep truths about the nature of geometry, of gravity, of existence itself. And when you solve them, when you work through the mathematics, you find predictions that seem impossible but turn out to be true. Event horizons, singularities, frame dragging, ergospheres, wormholes. Nature is not obligated to make sense to us. It's not required to fit our intuitions or match our expectations. It simply is what it is, following its own internal logic with perfect consistency. And somehow, miraculously, we can understand it. Not completely, not perfectly, but genuinely. We can glimpse the underlying patterns, the mathematical structures that give rise to everything we observe. That's what fills me deepest awe. Not just that the universe exists, but that it's comprehensible. That consciousness can arise from matter and learn the rules that govern matter. That we can look at a black hole and understand, at least in part, what we're seeing. You have that same capacity for understanding, maybe not the technical details, not the equations, but the fundamental wonder, the deep recognition that reality is both stranger and more orderly than we ever imagined. You don't need a degree in physics to feel awe. You don't need to understand general relativity to sense the profound mystery and beauty of existence. All you need is presence, attention, openness. And right now, in this moment, you have all three. I've started thinking of the black hole as a kind of archive. Everything that falls in is preserved somehow, encoded in some form we don't yet understand. The information paradox suggests that nothing is truly lost. Every particle, every photon, every bit of information that crosses the event horizon must leave some trace, some record of its existence. Perhaps it's encoded in the quantum correlations of Hawking radiation. Perhaps it's written on the event horizon in patterns too subtle to measure. Perhaps it escapes through quantum tunneling or is preserved in some other dimension we haven't discovered yet. We don't know. But the mathematics and the philosophy both suggest that information is fundamental, that it cannot be destroyed, only transformed. If that's true, then in some sense, nothing is ever truly lost. Everything that ever existed, every moment that ever occurred, remains part of reality in some form, somewhere, encoded in the fabric of space-time or the quantum structure of the universe. Your experiences, your memories, your thoughts, they're not ephemeral. They're real. They've left imprints on the world, changed the configuration of matter and energy, created ripples that propagate forward in time. You cannot erase your existence. You cannot undo the fact that you've been here, that you've experienced this moment, that you've had an effect on the world around you. You are permanent. You are recorded in the universe's memory. And that means your life has meaning that extends beyond what you can see or measure. Every kindness you've shown, every thought you've thought, every dream you've dreamed, they all persist somehow, woven into the tapestry of reality. The accretion disk is dimming slightly. The companion star must be in a quiet phase, not shedding as much material. The black hole's meal is growing smaller, but it's patient. It doesn't need constant feeding. It can wait years, centuries, millennia between substantial meals. Time means nothing to it. For a being that warps time itself, that exists at the boundary where temporal flow nearly stops, patience is not a virtue, but simply the natural state. We could learn from that. Our lives are so rushed, so urgent, so filled with deadlines and schedules, and the pressure to accomplish things quickly. But the universe operates on different timescales. Stars live for billions of years, galaxies evolve over trillions, and black holes. Black holes simply outlast everything. There's wisdom in that in knowing that some things cannot be rushed, that some processes unfold in their own time, that waiting is not passive but active participation in the slow dance of reality. Your healing happens in its own time. Your growth unfolds at its own pace. You cannot force yourself to change faster than you're ready to change. All you can do is show up day after day, moment after moment, and trust that the process is happening even when you can't see it. Like the black hole accumulating mass one atom at a time, like stars forming from clouds of gas over millions of years, like evolution shaping life through countless generations. Transformation is patient work, and you're doing it, whether you realize it or not. The cosmic microwave background, that faint afterglow of the Big Bang, washes over the black hole just as it washes over everything else in the universe. Photons that have been traveling for nearly 14 billion years, cooled by the expansion of space from intense heat down to just a few degrees above absolute zero. These ancient photons interact with the black hole's gravity, their paths bent, their energy slightly blue-shifted as they fall inward. Some will spiral into the event horizon, adding their infinitesimal energy to the black hole's mass. Others will pass by, deflected, continuing their journey through the cosmos. In a very real sense, I'm bathed in the light of creation itself. The universe's first light, stretched and cooled but still present, still traveling, still carrying information about the earliest moments of existence. You're bathed in that same light. Right now, wherever you are, cosmic microwave background photons are passing through your body, through the walls around you, through the earth itself. You are always in contact with the most ancient light in the universe. All was connected to the Big Bang, to the moment when time and space began. That light has witnessed everything: the formation of the first atoms, the birth of the first stars, the assembly of galaxies, the emergence of planets, the origin of life, the rise of consciousness. And now it touches you, gentle and invisible, a whisper from the beginning of time. There's something deeply comforting about that. You're never alone. You're always held in the light of creation, always part of the universe's unfolding story. My oxygen reserves are fine. My water recycler is working perfectly. My food supplies will last another 3 months. I have everything I need to continue this observation for as long as the mission requires. But more than that, I have this experience, this moment, this profound connection with something so far beyond human scale that it redefines what I thought was possible. I came here to collect data, to make measurements, to contribute to humanity's understanding of black holes and gravity and space-time. But I'm leaving with something else, too, a sense of perspective, a recognition of how small my concerns are, how brief my lifetime is, how vast and ancient and patient the universe is. And paradoxically, that makes me feel not insignificant, but liberated. If nothing I do matters on a cosmic scale, then I'm free to choose what matters to me on a human scale. I can care about kindness without worrying whether it's cosmically important. I can love without needing it to last forever. I can create meaning in my brief existence without requiring the universe to validate that meaning. The black hole doesn't care what I think or feel, and that's okay. I don't need it to care. I care, and that's enough. You care too, about ideas, about experiences, and that caring, that valuing, creates meaning where none existed before. You don't need permission from the universe to decide what matters. You don't need cosmic approval to love your life, to pursue your dreams, to find joy in small moments. You create meaning simply by being conscious, by caring, by choosing what to pay attention to, and that's a profound power. The power to decide, within your brief existence, what will be important to you. The radiation from the accretion disk is so intense that it creates pairs of particles from pure energy. Photons collide with such force that they transform into matter and antimatter, an electron and a positron, appearing from nothing but light. Most of these pairs quickly annihilate each other, returning to energy. But some escape, carried away by the magnetic fields, joining the jets or the outflow. This is pair production, one of the stranger predictions of quantum mechanics and special relativity. Energy and matter are interchangeable, two forms of the same underlying substance, connected by Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared. Matter is frozen energy. Energy is liberated matter. And in extreme environments like this, they transform back and forth freely. You are made of frozen starlight. The mass of your body, the substance of your flesh and bones, is energy that has taken solid form. If you could be converted back to pure energy, if all your atoms underwent complete matter-antimatter annihilation, you would release as much energy as several nuclear bombs. But instead, that energy is bound, stable, organized into the intricate structures of cells and molecules and organs that create your consciousness, your experience, your being. You are a temporary configuration of energy, a pattern that persists for a while before dissolving back into simpler forms. But while you persist, you are real. You are substantial. You matter. And the universe is richer for your presence, even if only for this brief moment in cosmos. I wonder what the singularity is really like. Not what the equations predict, infinite density, zero volume, but what it actually is, because infinity doesn't exist in nature. It's a mathematical concept, a limit, a placeholder for we don't know what happens here. Whenever our equations produce infinities, it usually means they've reached their limit, that we're trying to describe something beyond their domain of validity. At the singularity, quantum mechanics and general relativity both break down. Neither theory can describe what happens at such extreme scales. We need a theory of quantum gravity, a framework that unifies both perspectives. String theory offers one possible answer. Loop quantum gravity offers another. There are other proposals, other ideas, other mathematical frameworks being explored, but we don't know yet. The singularity remains mysterious, hidden behind the event horizon, inaccessible to observation. And maybe it always will be. Maybe some things are fundamentally unknowable, protected by the cosmic censorship hypothesis that prevents naked singularities from existing. Or maybe someday, with better theories and cleverer ideas, we'll understand. We'll peer behind the veil and see what's really there. Either way, the mystery is part of the beauty. The unknown is part of the adventure. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to understand everything. Some mysteries can remain mysterious, and that's okay. You can be comfortable with uncertainty. You can rest in not knowing. The universe holds many secrets, and you don't need to uncover them all. You can simply appreciate that they exist, that reality is deeper and stranger than you currently comprehend, and that's enough. more than enough. My thoughts are wandering now, following their own paths like particles orbiting the black hole. Some thoughts spiral inward, getting caught in loops of contemplation. Others escape, shooting outward toward new ideas. This is what happens in the quiet hours, in the observation shifts, where there's nothing to do but watch and think and be. I've solved no great problems out here. I've had no dramatic insights, but I've settled into a different way of being, a slower rhythm, a deeper acceptance. Maybe that's the real gift of this mission. Not the data I collect, but the person I become in the process of collecting it. You're on your own mission, too. Your own journey of observation and discovery. And maybe the destination matters less than the journey itself, less than who you become along the way. Every experience shapes you. Every moment of attention, every act of kindness, every choice to be present, rather than distracted. You're becoming who you are, gradually, patiently, in the same way stars gradually form from clouds of gas. There's no rush, there's no deadline. You have the time you have, and that's exactly the right amount of time. The black hole's shadow would be visible if I positioned myself correctly. The shadow is larger than the event horizon itself because light is bent around the black hole, creating a dark circle in my field of view surrounded by the bright accretion disk. The Event Horizon Telescope captured an image like this of the supermassive black hole in M87, and it was one of the most significant astronomical achievements of the early 21st century, seeing a black hole. Actually seeing it, or rather seeing its absence, its shadow, its effect on the light around it. That image confirmed so many theoretical predictions. The size of the shadow matched Einstein's equations. The asymmetry showed the black hole was rotating. The bright ring showed the structure of the accretion disk. Theory and observation aligned perfectly, 100 years after Einstein first derived the equations, 50 years after we found the first black hole candidates. That's the patient work of science. Decades of theoretical development, decades of technological advancement, decades of careful observation, all culminating in a single image that proved what we suspected all along. But the proof matters, the confirmation matters. Knowing that our ideas about reality actually correspond to reality, that we're not just making up stories, but discovering truths. You can trust your experience too. Your perceptions are real. Your feelings are valid. Your understanding of the world, even if imperfect, corresponds to something genuine. You're not making it all up. You're not delusional. You're navigating reality as best you can with the tools you have, and that's all anyone can do. Trust yourself. Trust your experience. And when you're uncertain, that's okay too. Uncertainty is part of the human condition, part of the adventure of being alive. The jets have flickered, a brief surge, then back to base. Perhaps a clump of material just plunged through the inner disk, triggering a burst of magnetic reconnection and particle acceleration. These transient events are common. Black holes are not steady. They fluctuate, they vary, they respond to changes in their environment. Life is that too. Steady most of the time, with occasional surges, occasional quiet periods, occasional unexpected events that change everything for a moment before settling back into routine. You don't need to be constant. You don't need to be unchanging. It's okay to have ups and downs, bright moments and dim ones, periods of intense activity and periods of rest. The universe itself is variable. Stars flare, supernovae explode, black holes surge, and through it all the cosmos continues patient and vast. You can continue too, through your own variations, your own changes, your own unexpected events. Nothing is wrong with you. you're just being human. And being human means changing, growing, adapting, responding to circumstances. That's not a flaw. That's the design. I'm beginning to feel sleep pulling at me, even though my shift isn't over for another hour. The routine of observation, the gentle monotony of monitoring instruments, the profound calm of floating here in the dark, it all conspires to create a deep relaxation. I could fight it. I could stimulate myself with bright lights or loud sounds or physical exercise, but I don't want to. There's something right about feeling sleepy while watching a black hole, about letting consciousness dim while observing the universe's most extreme objects. Sleep is a form of surrender, a daily practice of letting go, of trusting that your body knows what it needs, that consciousness can safely turn off for a while and return refreshed. You're feeling that pull too, aren't you? The gentle invitation to let go, to stop processing, to drift into dreams or simple rest. It's safe to accept that invitation. You've done enough today. You've thought enough, worked enough, worried enough. Now it's time to rest, to release, to trust. The black hole will still be here tomorrow. The universe will continue its expansion. Stars will keep burning, and you will wake, refreshed, ready to engage with life again. But for now, let yourself drift. Let your thoughts grow quiet. Let your body grow heavy and soft. You are held. You are safe. You are exactly where you need to be. The mathematics that describes this black hole also describes time dilation on Earth. The same equations that predict event horizons also predict that time runs slightly slower at sea level than on a mountaintop. GPS satellites have to account for this. Time runs faster in orbit than on the ground, so their clocks would drift out of sync if not corrected. Einstein's relativity isn't just abstract theory, it's practical technology we use every day. You are living in a universe where time is flexible, where space curves, where nothing is absolute, and yet everything works. Your phone finds your location. Satellites maintain their orbits. The universe is both stranger than we thought and more reliable than we feared. It's a kind of comfort. Reality can be deeply weird and still perfectly functional. The laws of physics can be counterintuitive and still trustworthy. You don't need to fully understand how things work to benefit from them. You don't need to grasp relativity to use GPS. You don't need to understand neurochemistry to sleep peacefully. Your body knows what to do. The universe knows what to do. And you can trust both to support you, even when you don't understand the mechanisms. Let that trust settle into your bones. You are supported. You are held. You are part of a universe that, for all its strangeness, is fundamentally stable, fundamentally reliable. The light from the accretion disk that's reaching my eyes right now was emitted just moments, but the light from distant stars visible in the background began its journey years or decades or centuries ago. I'm seeing different moments simultaneously. The present of the accretion disk, the past of nearby stars, the ancient past of galaxies, all layered together in my field of view. Looking at the sky is always looking back in time. Every photon is a messenger from the past, carrying news of what was, not what is. By the time you see a star, it might have already changed or even died. The light you're seeing is historical, not current. And yet it feels immediate. It feels real and present. Your memories are like that too. They feel immediate when you recall them, even though they're records of past events, photons from your personal history reaching your consciousness now. The past is never truly gone. It's preserved in memory, in records, in the patterns of neurons, and the configuration of matter. Everything leaves traces. Everything persists somehow, and that means nothing you've experienced is wasted. Every joy, every sorrow, every moment of wonder, they're all part of who you are now, woven into the fabric of your being. You carry your history with you, not as a burden, but as a foundation. The accumulated wisdom of every experience, every lesson, every moment of your life. And that history has brought you here to this moment, to this experience of drifting towards sleep while contemplating black holes and the nature of it. How strange and wonderful life is. How unpredictable the path. How rich with possibility. My eyelids are heavy now. I should probably set an alarm, make sure I don't sleep through my shift. But I'm tempted to just drift, to let consciousness fade, to trust that I'll wake when I need to. The instruments will continue recording whether I'm awake or not. The black hole will continue existing whether I'm watching or not. My presence here is meaningful to me, but it's not required by the universe. And there's freedom in that. Freedom to rest when rest is needed. Freedom to let go of constant vigilance and trust that reality will continue without my support. You can let go too. Whatever you've been holding on to, worry, tension, the need to stay alert, you can release it now. The world will be fine without your constant attention. Problems that need solving will still be there tomorrow. People will manage without you for a few hours. Right now, in this moment, you are free to simply be, to exist without purpose or agenda, to breathe and rest and drift. This is not selfishness. This is self-care. This is recognizing that you're a finite being with finite energy, and sometimes the most important thing you can do is nothing at all. Rest is productive. Sleep is necessary, and surrendering to your body's need for restoration is an act of wisdom, not weakness. The universe approves. It has built rest into the fabric of existence. Stars have quiet periods. Galaxies have epochs of low activity. Even black holes will eventually evaporate and fade. Everything rests eventually. Everything returns to stillness. And in that stillness, there's renewal, energy restored, perspective regained, capacity replenished. You will wake tomorrow with fresh eyes and a rested mind. You will face your life with renewed strength. You will be better for having rested now. Let sleep come if it wants to come. Let dreams arrive, gentle and strange. Let consciousness dissolve into the soft darkness. The black hole and I will keep our vigil. The universe will continue its slow unfold, and you will drift safely through the night, held in the arms of existence, cradled by the very fabric of space-time. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening, for wondering, for allowing yourself to be curious about the cosmos and your place in it. You are magnificent. You are a temporary eddy in the flow of energy and matter, but while you exist, you are fully real, fully valuable, fully worthy of rest and peace and joy. Sleep well, dear friend. Let the universe whisper you into dreams. Let the darkness be soft and safe. Let tomorrow come in its own time. For now, rest, simply rest. The stars are watching. The black hole is patient. And I am here floating in the quiet immensity, grateful for this moment, grateful for this connection, grateful for the strange and beautiful fact that consciousness exists at all. Good night. Safe journeys through, and may you wake refreshed, renewed, and ready to greet whatever wonders tomorrow brings. The universe loves you in its own vast and impersonal way, and I, whoever I am, wherever I truly am, I honor your presence. I wish you deep rest and gentle peace. Let your eyes close now. Let your breathing slow. Let the day fall away like dust from your shoulders. You are held. You are safe. You are home in the cosmos, now and always. Rest now, rest well, and dream, if you dream, of stars and silence and the infinite patience of gravity. Good night.